What's going on, everyone? Coach Jason here,
Coach RJ.
Coach Aaron.
and we are back with another episode of the Mach 1 method. We're going to be with new chairs. Very, very spinny. Comment below if you think these chairs are better for us or if the other not spinny chairs are better for us. As potentially related topic, we're talking about injuries, how to navigate training while you're injured or training around an injury, and perhaps the type of seat you're using could be contributing to any nagging, aching going on, like sciatica, obviously super common. RJ, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so, with training and performance, you are, trying to push the envelope. So you are taking, your soft tissue and everything to a limit where you're trying to push yourself. With that, there is a potential risk for injury. And in that time, it's kind of a critical moment of saying, like, what do I do next? Right? Do I rest it? Do I try to attack it from a different angle? Am I doing the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the dilemma that we're trying to answer there. So as a PT, like, we are trying to, impact that affected area, but also from a performance side of things, what does the coach do and what does this individual do to keep those other qualities intact? Right. And I think it's an important time to maybe shy away a little bit from that area and you focus on some other things.
Mm-hmm.
So, just say an example is I hurt my arm, right? I still got legs. I can still hop on the
Exactly.
bike. I can still do my squats, just modifying around that injury.
Exactly. I feel like sometimes people feel like when they have an injury, they're like, I need to shut it down completely. And I find 95% of the time, at least for myself, and just with working with clients, that's false. Some movement I find usually makes everyone feel better. And, to what degree or intensity, we could back things off if we need to. There's plenty of options, but I find movement is the best medicine in general.
When do you guys feel is, if you could identify like a potential marker of when is it a good time to completely back off something versus working through it just at a lower intensity?
It's a good question. I mean, one, if your doctor does tell you that, always listen to them.
I think that would be the first time.
Yeah, that would be like, all
you try to
right.
screen for what we would call like a red flag. Like if you feel like you
Mhm.
broke something or fully like tore something, that might be
Yes.
something where you need to go consult, a PT, you go consult a medical doctor just to see if something like really bad had happened. If it's just like a little strain, a little different story.
Mhm. I remember when I broke my wrist, and I remember strapping my other arm to a barbell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Doctor would probably like scream if they saw that. Like, what are you doing? It worked. It worked. I
Yeah.
got movement in. So I think it's very much. I did recover quicker by continuing to move throughout the whole process.
Say,
That's
it will help with it'll help with the bounce back for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That was funny.
Yeah.
Remember the one arm dumbbell or
Remember
no
the
barbell?
kettlebell?
The barbell. No, the barbell.
I do remember.
Yep, that was a trip.
A lot of landmine.
Did a lot
Yeah,
of landmine.
lots of landmine, but
Yeah.
there were ways, and I don't know. I just felt better staying active
Yeah.
throughout the whole process. If something's causing someone like serious pain and everything aggravates it, then, rest it for a week or something like that. But if you can do certain movements without pain, I think it's okay to keep your training up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think to that degree, like you have a couple like, stepping stones where we could modify. Like number one, if something heavy is bothersome, just lighten the load a little bit. Right? Maybe we're changing the range of motion. Maybe we're just doing less reps overall. That would be like the first stop. I would
Just like
start
really
there.
simply like a deload.
Correct. Yeah. So you're taking a little break. You're still challenging the tissue and all that, but you're just taking a little step back. If things progress and you're feeling fine, start ramping back up. Does it mean you go, taking 50% and going right back to 100? Probably not. Meet somewhere in the middle and just give it time to gradually build up.
I think what's also like an interesting thing is we talk all the time about whether it's from a sport performance perspective or just a general fitness perspective, how the type of training we prescribe for people is injury preventative. And I think what's kind of funny or interesting about that is no matter what kind of training you're doing, injuries are almost likely going to happen, like to like a high possibility.
Yeah.
It's just the severity, the injuries, and the bounce back that the training that we are prescribing our clients and our members here allows us, achieve, right? You have someone who's really weak, untrained, and they get hurt, their recovery and their bounce back time is going to be way longer, or the severity of the injury itself can be way worse. Like, I think all of us can, probably talk for an hour just alone on like little things that have happened to us over the years, but the bounce back is quick, when you have a stronger body and you're just able to recuperate quicker on that.
Yeah, stronger body, stronger mind too. I think mindset wise, like the next time it does happen, you kind of know what to do. You have something to bounce back to, and you're like, okay, I've been through this. This has happened before. I went through these steps, and it took about this long to bounce back. And you're like, okay, I could deal with this. It's all right. Right.
Yeah, I think the mental aspect is often overlooked too.
Yeah.
It's, your first major injury, especially in the gym, it could be jarring. You're like, what? But it's a risk that's always going to be present. And once you start to get a feel, it creates like body awareness and stuff like that. So you kind of know what to look out for in like future training, like, oh, this felt a little off, this caused an injury before, maybe I address this. So it also kind of opens the door to, I guess, more well-rounded training.
I guess from your perspective too, kind of going back to your wrist, like
Yeah.
that injury happened in the gym, but because of something pre-existing that you were unaware of.
Yes.
And how has your training, even to this day, that was 5 years ago or 6 years ago, how has your training to this day changed, if at all? Like you said, like it's like the mental aspect of like getting over, oh well, I heard it doing a clean, is it ever gonna get injured again? Like, so like that's a very easy mindset to slip into. So like, how have you navigated that, if you've ever had challenges with that?
Yeah, I mean, I was initially like a little hesitant to get back into it, but I was also just itching to get back, into classes and stuff like that. So, I mean, I knew kind of just like go light, build the tolerance. And ever since then, I've learned to like take cues from what my wrist is like given me in response to training. I know like if I've laid off snatches for a while or something like that, when I go back to them, I'm probably going to feel like a little like compression in my wrist and stuff like that. And that's totally normal. I don't freak out about it like I used to. I used to get very nervous, but I've learned this is just a normal response that my body gives now. And I do remember my orthopedist telling me, he's like, in order to re-break it the way that you did, he's like, car accident. So I was like, all right, it's just a snatch. It's not
Thanks,
that.
Doc.
It's not. So for me, that really went a long way.
Yeah.
Because I told him, I was like, I'm a hypochondriac, just FYI. He's like, noted. And we've had a few cases where, I mean, RJ knows I've gotten a stinger or whatever. I'm like, oh God, what have I done?
Yeah.
But just learning how to kind of take it one day at a time. If something does hurt, see how your symptoms improve day to day. If it starts to gradually feel a little bit better, then you probably didn't do something major. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I know personally I've been dealing with some nagging hamstring stuff. Started, increasing my sprint volume due to softball and having a little time away from the sport. First time I came back, nice hit in the gap. Let's try to push it. Mindset went right to like,
Go.
all out, go. I come around second and boom, hamstring goes. And we're like, what the heck, man? I'm the gym PT guy, like playing, like I should be fine. And, let's reroute this thing. Haven't played in over 5 years. Sprint volume really wasn't there in the training at the time because I was doing a lot of Olympic lifting. So, taste of my own medicine. Start building back up with marches, start building sprints back in. tweak it again. But to your point, we built a little more resiliency in it, and the bounce back was a lot quicker, right? So, I think that's the big part is you're trying to build more resilience
Right.
to obtain like more stress, whether it's in the gym or, outside our doors.
I think that's like a really good way to summarize how to just navigate injuries in the gym too is from a preventative standpoint, it's really looking at not preventing injuries from ever happening again. It's really looking at how can you be resilient to the severity of them and make your bounce back and recovery
Yeah.
quicker. And then when you are experiencing like an ailment or an injury, take it whether it's a doctor advice or just by feel, like how much do you either need to dial back or just pivot away into something else and
Yeah.
let that heal. Sometimes just you need time, and that's all, and the amount of time depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
Just got to be honest with yourself.
Exactly, like knowing your body, knowing what feels right in the moment and things like that. I know for me, like when I finished my second powerlifting competition, like 3 months later, it aggravated my hip really badly. And I like, it was interesting. I couldn't deadlift even just like a plate for like 4 months.
And you deadlifted how much before the
that,
plate? Yeah.
Before that, it was almost 600 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. So it was like, and a plate, for those who may not know, is 135. So like less than a quarter. I couldn't pick it up. And, for a couple months, I was experiencing, that kind of pain. It took me a while to bounce back. It wasn't necessarily something happened that caused that. I just walked into the gym and I had that hip pain.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I wound up taking like pretty much a year off of powerlifting until, and wasn't in pain that whole time. It's just like I got into other kinds of training, tried different things, and I was fine. And now, I could deadlift again. It's okay.
A little more than a plate.
A little more than a plate, thankfully.
But
Exactly.
can you do 600?
I'll leave that to Bobby.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, I think like a nice visual that I always tell people, like you kind of talked about the reserve to an extent, like, going into it, like we want to try to build that resiliency and build that reserve to a certain point. So when we bounce back, one, it's either not that far away, and two, to get back to our baseline, it's a lot quicker. If somebody doesn't have that reserve and they're down here, you get a bounce back to here, but then this individual bounces back here. Right. And then it's slower. You don't get back as high. Maybe you get to 80%, you're here. Well, this person is still, working their way up to the, higher function.
The way you're describing that, I feel like a good analogy is like having a savings account and an emergency fund.
Yeah.
That's kind of exactly what you're saying. I think it couldn't be more true. It's like we talk about that when it comes to like bone density and aging and things like that. It's not necessarily what we're talking about today, but it all kind of loops in together. Like you want that reserve, you want more muscle mass, you want more exposure to different ranges of motion, so that way, like what you're saying, that bounce back, that floor is higher than what it would be if you were untrained.
Yeah, doing nothing. Yeah, 100%.
I think of Frank the Tank when he got his knee replacement. Like he was busting his butt in the gym before that surgery, like making sure his knees were as strong as possible. Goes in for the knee replacement, and it was like nothing really happened for him. Like he came back so quick, and like that's such a something like that. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, not that we doubted Frank, because we all know and love Frank, and that's what. Yes, he's the tank for a reason. But he had that reserve going into it, and it definitely paid dividends for him.
So. Yeah, that's like a super important like educational moment, for physical therapy is going into like if you're planning on doing surgery like an ACL or a knee replacement, even like a shoulder, going in as much of a monster as you can, because the outcomes are totally in favor of, if you're going good, you're going to come out a lot better. If we do nothing and be like, oh, I'm getting surgery, I'm not going to do anything for 2 months, bad idea. You want your range up, you want your strength up, you want to get your cardio up, because you're going to be out for a little bit, early on.
Definitely. But I guess to wrap it up, if something's hurting you, be honest with yourself. Talk to your coach about it, see if there's other ways around it, but never stop moving and keep that reserve high.
Absolutely.
So, any closing words? Yep.
No, I think that's it. Mach 1 method.
All right. My
We're
sciatica is killing me, so let's end this.
Boom.
Boom.
Be like me.
Yeah, don't be like me. Don't do it.